Well, have you seen something like this? A table that's 156 feet long can seat over 100 on one single table. This is truly amazing.
I want to put India, culinary capital of the world. I want to bring the world to India to experience such talent.
Indian cuisine has so much of culinary wealth. Top 10 chefs from the country, they all come together preparing one dish. It's a 10-course menu.
I don't think one has ever seen ragi mudde being presented in as crafted a form ever. But the feel is very rustic right from this earthen bowl. I want to taste some of that broth first. Vanakkam. Regi, how are you doing?
I'm Nirupama.
Nice to meet you. Namaste. How are you doing?
All good.
Yes, thank you very much for hosting us, inviting us to this very special.
Introduce Mr. Hanu Reddy.
Thank you for your very kind invitation to what promises to be a one-of-a-kind experience.
Starting of a beautiful experience, but I want it to happen all over the country. I want to put India as the culinary capital of the world. I want to bring the world to India to experience such talent.
Wonderful.
That's the only mission.
Wonderful.
Only mission. So I want you guys to take the message forward.
Well, we'll certainly do that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very much for opening your doors and for all the hospitality. So, Chef, tell us more about how did this partnership happen?
Something which is there about regional cuisine, mother's food, Indian cuisine is always there with me. But when I met Ms. Nirupama and she introduced me to Hanu Reddy sir, and when I was talking about mother's cuisine and all that thing and the passion what he had and the vision he had about Indian cuisine and the regional cuisine, because these are hidden gems which is not explored.
And we are here today
Wonderful.
to show the world what we Indians are. This story is about India. It's not about me, it's not about him. It's about the people of India.
Namaskara, folks. Welcome to a very special episode of Food Lovers TV. We are in a place called Ottuvakkam, more precisely Hanu Reddy Farms, about 45 kilometers from Chennai. And we are here to witness the birth of a very special movement. And of course, I'm here with my friend Chef Regi Mathew, who's curated this experience along with Mr. Hanu Reddy, whom we just met. And so, Regi, tell me more about what you're trying to do here.
Indian cuisine has so much of culinary wealth, which usually doesn't get into the global food arena.
Okay.
Because people knows only the common food which has been they're commercialized, which is there in some of the restaurants. Other than that, they don't know much about Indian food. So we want to showcase some of the dishes, and I would call this as a moment where 10 of my friend chefs, the top 10 chefs from the country, they all come together preparing one dish. So this is something it's a 10-course menu. So they are getting an opportunity to show their passion and their gratitude to mothers in 80 grams food. Each course is going to be 80 to 100 grams.
Well, so we've got nearly a kilo of food to consume, but more importantly, I'm trivializing it, but more importantly is the thread that binds all these 10 courses.
One is the inspiration which they got from their mothers or mother cuisine.
Okay.
And second thing is the cause, taking Indian culinary industry to the global level.
So the chefs have come from different parts of India.
Yeah, so 2 chefs are from Bombay, then we have 1 chef from Delhi, then we have 1 chef from Calcutta, from Bangalore, from Andhra, Chennai and Kerala. I thought it was a great moment in Indian culinary history. So I wanted this to reach to maximum people and who can do that.
So this is a bit of a behind the scenes thing.
Yes.
And we're just going to go and take a look at the kitchen where the chefs are getting ready with the dishes that will be on the table tonight. Wow, this is simply magical. How big is this table?
156 feet.
156 feet.
Yes. It's one table.
And this is all made from mango wood.
Mango wood. So this is going to be the plating station.
Okay.
The food is going to be prepared there, and it comes here. 180 people are for service.
So how many people to put together this dinner?
300 people.
And how many guests will be seated at the table?
106.
So you basically have 2 people for every 1 guest.
Yes.
More than that, nearly
More than
3
that.
people.
Yes, that's true.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness.
It is just 3 months old. Like 3 months back we started this.
So all this was put together for the purpose of this dinner.
See, it's all about collaboration. The collaboration of chefs.
Hello chef, how are you?
Very good.
So what
She's
course?
from Farmlore, no? You know
Yes,
her.
Have you been once?
I've not been to
You've not
Farm
been
Law
to
yet,
okay.
but I've heard about you.
Yes, thank you.
You're doing a course with Ragi, I think.
Yes, Ragi Mudde.
Ragi Mudde?
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant initiative to kind of bring everybody together.
And Kripal, I just told them once, you want to do something when everybody comes together and say like, yes, we are going to do. It is not an event by me, it is by all of us.
What course are you presenting?
I'm doing the second course, traditional rishado. You must have had the rishado.
Correct.
But I'm not doing it with chili this time. I'm doing it with sun-dried tomatoes.
Welcome to the pastry kitchen, the world's best pastry kitchen.
Yes, it's also the cool area in the kitchen, huh?
We've been hiding away inside from all the
Oh, wow,
hot stuff that's going on outside.
fantastic. So you got 2 desserts, I saw the menu.
Yeah, we have 2 desserts.
2 announced desserts.
Oh, this is more. So the
Yes,
surprise
yes,
is even
yes,
beyond
yes,
what's been
yes,
in.
yes.
Chef Regi is non-stop.
This is of course the brilliant chef Vinesh from Lavon in Namma Bengaluru, Namma Uru.
Bengaluru.
So Namma Bengaluru has 2 representations, huh?
Yes, Maitreyi, him and me.
Ah, you're
I'm
half, you're
half
like,
Bangalorean.
that's right.
This is the petit four. This is the surprise.
Oh, this is a surprise, okay.
This is a game called Palanguri.
Okay.
So we are going to give the beats and the rules how to play.
Wonderful. Yeah. So this is like you take a memory back home.
Yes.
What course is this?
This is mask team. They are doing
Ladi Pav.
Yeah.
Ah, there's a Ladi Pav right there. How are you, Vicky? He's like the Sunil Gavaskar of the,
Yes.
the Tendulkar of the firing the first salvo.
Kapal, meet my friend Varun.
Hi, Varun.
Varun Totlani from Mask.
So that's your station
Yes.
right there. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Pedro and the Bombay Canteen.
Yes. And Veronica's now.
Oh, wonderful. So what are you doing here?
Doing an Ambur duck biryani. And we'll roast them with some spices, which is coriander, fennel, jeera sambar rice, like.
So what's happening here, Vicky?
You know, the lotus stem and Sindhis have a very special connect.
Of course.
Now, normally when we eat lotus fruit, we always make it into a bhaji or we fry them. So I've made this into a vada
Wonderful.
and we're doing 3 chutneys. And then finally we've got this. This is the
Oh, the
crisp.
crispy.
One hits the sweet spot, one is like sour, and the other one is very vegetal, very green garlic, very pulp. So that's the sharp one.
I don't want to eat too much. I want to save my appetite, my palate for what's on the table. It's nice that the snacks here aren't too heavy.
Yes.
Karthik and
Binyas.
Binyas. And they run a very popular storytelling platform called Eat Kochi Eat.
Yes.
You know that we've recently done some episodes in Kochi, but that's probably just whetted my palate to go back and taste some more. So we're looking at opportunities to go and explore some food back in Kochi, perhaps with their assistance too.
Yes.
Pleasure hosting you.
It's a pleasure.
You know, that's the thing with experiences like these. It's also nice to meet people who share the same interests, who share the same passion.
So actually, this was really about some 6 months or 7-8 months back. I lose track, but Regi told me he was doing something of the scale. And to be honest with you, I was a little perplexed because one, when I heard the number of people that he was trying to hold it for, which was about 106 or 108. The second was the fact that it was in Chennai, because mostly when you hear about such grandiose affairs,
See the Bombay or Delhi.
Bombay, Delhi. And so when he told me that, of course, I believed Regi, because Regi is very serious about whatever he talks. He just doesn't throw stuff in the air.
I spoke to a couple of the chefs. Like one of them said, in the next 8 days, he's taking 15 flights. So getting all these guys together, and it can't only be for one day. They would have come a couple of days before.
Yes.
They had 350 waiters being trained.
Yes.
Because there's a single table. Everyone has to get the same food at the same time.
Yes.
I think that's incredible, the kind of logistics that went into it. And it speaks of passion. A way that you coordinate, you do the logistics, and you bring an idea to fruition.
Yes.
And very few people can do it.
At a scale like this. I'm hoping and I'm expecting that every dish will be a stunner, because I think every chef, for him it's that one dish.
We're going to get some of the most interesting, amazing flavors in South India tonight.
Absolutely. It's that time when I think we should probably find our way to the table.
Let's go.
Well, have you seen something like this? A table that's 156 feet long can seat over 100 on one single table. This is truly amazing. Well, this is actually history being made, culinary history being made here in Chennai at India's Culinary Odyssey by Chef Regi Mathew. And of course, along with him, the 9 partner chefs, Hussain Shehzad, Varun Totlani, Vicky Ratnani, Vanshika Bhatia, Aroni Mukherjee, Avinash Martins, Harish Rao, Maitri Iyer and Vinesh Johnny. I think it calls for an extraordinary vision to be able to conceptualize something like this. And I'm not just talking about the experience, but just this table. So all these mango trees were uprooted during the cyclone, and they found this brilliant way to create something beautiful with it. A table that brings people together, and over 100 people to be precise.
Welcome all to the happiest dining table in the universe. It's a moment of truth for me, where my dream of Indian cuisine, the regional Indian cuisine and the micro cuisine, getting into the limelight of the global food audience. Please enjoy the meal. Thank you.
Today I'm actually making lotus stem, which is cooked in clay pots.
Well, our first course is called the Lotus Stem Project. It's a chart, and the star of this chart is the bay or the lotus stem, and presented, of course, by one of India's most popular chefs, Chef Vicky Ratnani. What's interesting here are the components of the dish. So you've got a lotus chip, you've got a lotus vada or a bonda, and then there's some fermented lotus stem too at the bottom. I'm going to make a beginning with the vada. So what's nice here is that you've got the potatoes in that, and then contrasting against the softness of the potatoes, the crunch of the bay. So what's interesting about this dinner is the fact that each chef is presenting courses that are an ode to his mother's cooking, or perhaps his mother cuisine. And that's the interesting thing out here. What's also nice is the chutney here. Let's go for that. Fermented. Very sharp in its acidity, very crunchy, almost fibrous. Delicious. Just gonna mop up the last bit of that bonda with all the chutney. So good.
This dish I'm making is a fish rechado. Rechado is a masala which is generally gotten by the Portuguese. Basically a chili masala. But I'm doing a sun-dried tomato and a chili rechado. And I'm plating it with some interesting elements. One is the kalchi curry. Kalchi curry is yesterday's leftover curry, which is mostly relished by our Goans.
Oh, the kokum. There's a lot happening on this plate here. So you've got the fish, of course, sea bass with the rechad masala. Now, typically a rechad is only the red chilies, but there's also some sun-dried tomato. And I'm told that the masala that's been smoked. There's a curry that's an ode to the kalchi curry, which is the yesterday's curry. I'm not sure if this is the skin of the fish. So there's just a kiss of warmth there. But what is tasting more is the sweet, pulpy acidity of the tomato. The fish too is nice and flaky and is seasoned rather well on the inside. I can taste some coconut in there, a bit of the kokum. It's almost like a coconut cream which has been stained a bit with the kokum, the garcinia. And this, I think, is a reduction of the kalchi curry or the yesterday's curry. So the curry has been thickened to the texture of a mousse. Delicious. And I think this skin crisp packs all the concentrated flavors of the fish into a tiny bite. What's also nice is that the portions are rather tight. I love the manner in which the curry playfully mingles with that coconut cream that's laced with a bit of the kokum. So you got a dash of kokum in that, and then you also have, I think, a kokum shot. I'm happy. Delicious.
This dish is extremely special because it's a dish for celebrations. My key ingredient in my dish today is aam ka kutra achar made by my grandmother, and this is a very special ingredient in the recipe today.
Well, this looks like a very humble course. Some chickpeas, lentil puree. It is some achari flavor. Some paratha with some chickpeas. I can taste the ghee in that paratha. So the last course seemed to have a lot happening there. This one was more comforting, more humble. Probably if the chef's mom even were to look at this dish, she would probably recognize it as her dish. I love the flavor of the achari flavors infused into that chickpea, and I think the chickpeas are cooked with the pickle. I'm now looking forward to the next one, which is goda masala. And this comes from a chef, I'm sure, who has roots somewhere in Maharashtra.
My dish is inspired by home-cooked Maharashtrian meal. My bread, which is the ladhi pav, is ladhi actually means stack and pav means bread. So we're doing a stack of bread. So what I've used for this course also is something that I've learned from my mother, of making a prawn pickle or currently loncha.
Well, that's our next course. We've got some crab that's made in a very traditional goda masala. I can taste the crunch of the celeriac and the sweetness of the crab meat. What I'm quite curious to taste though is this lonsa or pickle made with small prawns. It's almost like a poriyal of sort, but with shrimps. The ladhi pav is nice and warm, and I think this is what will make for a lovely medium to scoop that crab. And the ladhi pav is also buttered, so you've got the decadence of that butter and the luxury of crab that's been deboned. Somebody has done all the work of deboning the crab and placing it in this crab shell for us to enjoy. I think I should probably go a little easy on the bread because the bread is what can fill you up, and we are only on course 4, I think. The pav is quite tasty in itself. Between the lonsa and the crab, my favorite was the crab.
Today I am preparing a special dish for you which is very much close to my heart, and that is something which I learned from my mother. When it comes to regional Kerala food, one dish which comes to my mind is pidi and chicken curry. I have a lot of nostalgic feel about this dish because I used to go to the church when I was a kid, not to attend the mass but to eat this pidi and chicken curry. When it comes to the table, gently mix the curry and mix the flavors and enjoy my favorite dish.
Well, this course is put together by none other than Regi, the curator of the evening. It's a lovely yin and yang sort of a composition happening here in this bowl. So you've got the rice balls that have been cooked in a coconut milk. And what's interesting is that the rice balls have been stained with the blue pea flour. Served with a chicken curry, but you can just savor that rice ball and that coconut cream just by itself. Because of the flour that's infused into that rice dumpling, it's got a lovely blue sort of a hue. It's always a challenge in a dinner like this. The portions are tight, but the moment you have carbs, and we are in our 5th course now, you begin to feel a bit sated. But this is so tasty, I don't want to let go. I think I just put on some curry leaf there. I love the flavor of the coconut cream in the pidi and also in that curry, in the chicken curry. Delicious. Well, we've arrived at course number 6. Now you can feel the weight of the journey to a certain extent, but I'm excited about this one because this is a chef from a restaurant in Bengaluru. I must confess I haven't been to Farm Lore yet, but I've certainly heard of Chef Maitri Iyer. Her dish showcases the humble ragi mudde, the finger millet.
Generally, I think I take a lot of my cooking traits from my mom. She's an amazing cook.
Thank you. I don't think one has ever seen ragi mudde being presented in as crafted a form ever. But the feel is very rustic right from this earthen bowl. I want to taste some of that broth first. There's some chowli in there, which is nice. Very light. It's almost like a buttermilk sort of a, like a bit of a moru sort of a. I think there's also some dill in this somewhere. I will go for a bit of that dantina chutney. Has a bit of the green chili mint aggression, and now to go for some of that ragi mudde. I don't think I've ever eaten ragi mudde in a spoon. And of course, like we all know, the key to eating a ragi mudde is not to bite on it. Some of the dantina chutney into that broth. Certainly fortifies it with a little more aggression, little more punch. I think Chef Maitri here has certainly elevated the humble ragi mudde to a whole new level.
Is something that we prepare as prasad or bhog for Kali Pujo. First version is made with kochi patha. And kochi patha is a countryside goat, which is a very delicious kind of mutton. A particular cut of the mutton, it comes from the sina or the brisket of the mutton. It almost looks like pork belly. This is a special small grain variety of rice, very aromatic, quite nutty, and a perfect foil for both these curries.
So this is a dish that comes from Bengal, and what I'm most eager to taste is this piece of goat that has been fried in some mustard oil. Actually want to go in with my fingers. Oh, that piece of meat, this is that's almost falling off that chunk of fat that it's attached to. Delicious. The fat in this is a texture of ghee. That's how melt in the mouth this is. The goat is tender. So in this jhol, in this gravy, I can certainly taste a bit of the warmth of some chili. The goat is soft, the goat is tender. Meat and potatoes. The potatoes have a sweetish edge to them. I think I can also taste the lip smacking effect of some of that goat fat. I would probably give up the fork and enlist the assistance of the spoon. I want to get as much of that jhol onto my spoon. I can feel the smack of the fat on my fingertips. All the dishes are tasty. There are some that have soul, and this certainly is one of them. Very simply put together, nothing on the plate that is not edible. I like the slight piquant edge of the mustard oil that's been deployed in the making of this dish. Delicious. In the next one, we travel to the state of Andhra Pradesh. We're going to taste a tiger prawn with a coconut milk rice and a gongura crisp by Chef Harish Rao.
My cherished recipe is always Nellur Chapala Kura, or it is called as a pulusu. My grandmom makes it. The way she drops the fish in the curry is magic. And today, I'm making one such recipe, which is a famous recipe from our own Pushpa Amma, from the Hanu Reddy's family.
Oh, so the coconut milk rice is in this. The prawn looks nice and plump. Beautifully seasoned all the way through. Nice and crisp on the outside. Lovely sweetness of the prawn that's coming through. And that's a bit of a gashi, an onion-based gashi to savor the coconut rice. Again, a very comforting sort of a dish. So out here there are two kinds of dishes. Those that are created, engineered, if that's the word to use. And then you have dishes like this tiger prawn fry, which is very simply basted in a masala and then fried. The prawns are fried just perfectly. Good amount of masala on the outside, but not too much as well. Just enough to lend the prawn its spicy heat. And on the inside, the prawn is well seasoned and has that lovely hint of sweetness that you get from fresh sea prawns. Very good. And now for that gongura crisp. You're almost not tasting the sourness of that gongura. Oh, these prawns were delicious.
My mother's recipe.
Superb.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lovely. Thank you.
Your presentation, fantastic.
Thank you very much, sir. So my whole focus is on showcasing traditional Indian food. That's what I do.
That's it.
So I go and try and seek out experiences, interesting places, food that we should not forget, but we should carry forward into the future.
Exactly. Culture and our cuisine is so rich.
It is.
And
it
so
is.
uniquely Indian.
It is.
Yeah, I think we are the same thinking, same way.
100%.
Yeah. We'll do more things together.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. This entire experience is put together courtesy his generous support of the initiative. You know, chefs can dream things, and when Regi set out with his dream, with his vision, I'm sure he was trying to figure out a way to do this. All the resources that Chef Regi needed to stage this experience were provided to him. And I think the one thing that we probably don't do enough of is celebrate our traditions, celebrate our culinary roots, celebrate our cuisine. I think we need to do it more and more, and also quite assertively. I don't know if you can hear me above the music that's playing in the back, and I hope I don't get a copyright strike, but this has been a tremendously well put together sort of an evening.
I grew up eating a lot of biryani. I don't pay too much heed to presentation. I feel if I do a great job or a good job with conceptualization of what we wish to showcase, I think the presentation takes care of itself. Creativity is something that for us, or for me, generally stems from a deep sense of nostalgia or experience.
Well, the next course is an ambur biryani, but not just any ambur biryani. This is a duck ambur biryani. I think that's going to be interesting. I think you also have some flecks of meat in that biryani, flecks of duck meat. Never had a duck biryani before. I think duck's an interesting meat because it's got so much more flavor as compared to a chicken, but it also has a bit of the chew that you expect to find in red meat. So in addition to the duck that you have in the rice and the biryani, you also have some duck breast here, a little bit of the fat that usually clings on to that duck breast. I think I'm just going to go in with my fingers. The skin is nice and crackling. The meat is moist. There's also a hint of sweetness somewhere in there. It's almost like the duck has been poached in a slightly sweetened braising liquid of sorts. Strong flavors of the coriander. It's a very flavorful rice preparation. Corn pachadi or corn salad.
What was that wow moment for you tonight? Like, I mean, was it like, is there one moment in the whole experience that like you like to pick as that wow moment?
I think experiences like these only work if everything comes together. I've seen many dinners, but I don't think I've ever encountered such a magical evening as this. Right? I think right from the vision of Chef Regi Mathew to him finding a partner with equal vision and equal passion with Mr. Hanu Reddy and his family, and so graciously opening this beautiful farm to be the stage, to be the platform for such an experience. I think that's the magic. I think you can have dreams, but you need people to support you to bring that to fruition. And I think that's what this evening has witnessed. So I think this is going to go down in the Indian food history as perhaps one of the finest curated, crafted Indian culinary experiences ever. And I think the benchmark has been set, and now it's for the rest of the country, the rest of the world to take note. Kudos to everyone involved, right from Chef Regi Mathew to each one of the 10 chefs and all the assistants working there, to the incredible army of servers who've served us so meticulously each and every course. I don't think this evening could have been better. A salute. I doff my hat to everyone involved in this fantastic production.
Two desserts. The first one is a little free dessert, like a refreshing. Because you guys are sitting in a mango farm, we're doing a passion fruit and mango sorbet with frozen coconut nuts, tender coconut grape, and caramelized peanuts. The second dessert that we have is a carrot halwa melody with prunos cheese, caramelized pineapple, coconut bread.
Vinesh is a maestro when it comes to dessert. I think the balance between the sweetness of the mango and also its inherent acidity. Just before you think that the sweetness of the mango is going to get a little too much, you can taste its tart acidity, and then the nuttiness, the nutty bite of the peanuts. So the sweetness of the mango is quite well balanced with the fruity acidity of the passion fruit. And somewhere that tender coconut whale, almost like a thin film of jelly, also helps tone down the sweetness of the dessert. Excellent prelude to the dessert, to the main dessert. In fact, this dessert was also the perfect pick-me-up. So we've done 9 courses up until now, and we're at that point where people are sated, perhaps a little sleepy, perhaps a little tired. But this dessert was vivacious enough with its sweetness, acidity, its creativity to lift up, to perk up the senses.
This is the beginning of India's culinary tourism.
Thank you. So this dessert by Vinesh has a bunch of different components. I don't know where to begin. I think the one that I recognize here is definitely the gajar ka halwa velute. Like a rich cream. What is this? I can taste some pineapple in there somewhere. Delicious. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page, and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!